Hi everyone, how are you all? It seems like forever since I've been with you. Last weekend I was lucky enough to go on a fantastic crop, a retreat really. So that was that weekend out. And then I just don't seem to have been able to get up here to do anything in the week. So I'm back tonight with some more Christmas cards. I haven't made Christmas cards for ages, which means I'll probably fall horribly behind and have to buy shop bought ones. So I need to pull my finger out. So this is using Stampin' Up's Perfectly Plaid, and I wanted some little cards that I could give to people like neighbours, rather than the big cards that I usually make, which are 5x7. I think these 4x4. So here they are, and they are really simple to do. I think I said before, for the first time ever, I haven't bought everything in the catalogue, but my mum bought this set. And then she asks for a little bit of inspiration. So I had a little end of it, and this is what I've come up with. And I'm using the lovely plaid papers. I did treat myself to these, and I've used them a lot because you tend to have the tartan images on the back, on the front, and then other images then are the lovely Christmassy images on the back. And as you can see by all these little offcuts, I have used it quite a bit, which is nice to see. And because it is 6x6 papers, the designs are small enough to use on cards. If that was a 12x12 piece, obviously these squares then need to be a lot bigger, so you sort of lose some of the design, I think. So it is in the autumn and winter catalogue. There it is, and it's available as a bundle because you get... This is everything then that's in the suite. You get the stamp set and the punch in a bundle. Then the papers here. And that's a lovely ribbon. I've tried to calm down on buying ribbon this year as well. I barely recognise myself these days. I'm also using some products from the annual catalogue, if I can find them. I'm using the stitched rectangles, my favourite framelets, and these are my other ones, the stitch shapes. I gave some false information recently because I said that these were actually discontinued. That was fake news because somebody informed me that they're still there, and I'm delighted to see them because I use them all the time. So I need to check my catalogue before I give out false information. So this is the first one I'm going to do. As you can see, it's really simple. I've embossed the background here. I think I'm a bit scared to say it now, but I'm pretty sure this one is discontinued. This is Falling Snow or Falling Spots or something along those lines, but they've got lots of very similar ones on the market, but also there's a very similar one in the Stampin' Up catalogue. I'm not precious about mixing old and new. And then this one, I've just, as you can see, stamped out a variety of trees, punched them out even. And then I think, once again, this ribbon that I'm using is retired from the catalogue, but there are so many lovely ribbons in there. So here we go. So I have made things a little bit simpler by already embossing my piece of Whisper White. And I'm actually using Cherry Cobbler. My beloved ATG gun is playing properly again now. We're on speaking terms. And this piece actually was an offcut from another card I made. That's the good thing about sort of storing them all together. Sometimes you only need a little piece. So I'm just going to cut that down. And what you want the piece you're using to be the same sort of size as the Christmas tree punch, because mine's probably a little, oh there we are, that's better. As you can see there, I've cut, what I did, I actually made a mistake first. I cut the circle and then I punched the tree out and it wasn't quite in the middle. So what I'm going to do this time is punch the tree, then cut the circle, and if you can see just there, it's all raised up on foam pads, and then this becomes the background of the tree. I don't know if that made any sense to you whatsoever. You can see I'm out of practice because I can't string a sentence together. So I'm just going to cut that a little bit shorter, and I'm doing it all by eye, which means it usually gets cut too short. I don't know why I trust my eyes, to be honest. I'm going to bring that back in to remind myself of what I'm doing. But I then cut the bigger circle using the bigger stitched shape, just to have that behind my bit of tartan paper. So how are you all getting on with your Christmas cards? I've been sort of doing a bit of scrapbooking lately because I've had a few gifts I wanted to finish. So now I'm back in the mood for card making. I tend to find I'm either in a card making mood or I'm in a scrapbooking mood, because it stops me having to put everything to do with one away and then get another lot out, and so I tend to stick to one paper crafting thing at a time. It has been a very busy few weeks for us. We finally, now all the paperwork's gone through for our land, and actually the diggers have started doing a little bit of work. I just can't wait to see some footings go in. Exciting times ahead. We've been busy looking at kitchens and bathrooms, which is quite bizarre when there's no house to put them in yet. So the sentiment says, hoping that your busy year, or year, however, I'm saying it with a very Welsh accent, comes together in Christmas cheer. So once again, I'm going to do it a slightly easier way. So punch your tree, make sure you give yourself space to put your circular framelit on there. So I'm just going to do now, I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape out of the 5 billion reels that I own, and I'm just going to centralize it, hopefully, and then I'm just going to whiz it through the big shot, just off to the side a second. I'm loving this tartan this year. I think I'll be doing all my neighbour cards using this lovely tartan paper. There we go. And then all I'm going to do very simply with foam pads is lift it up to give it a little bit of dimension. How simple is this? Sometimes, especially if you're making them in bulk, you don't want to be faffing about too much. You need them to be quick and to come together easily. And this is one then you could do in a bit of a conveyor belt fashion. You could cut all the trees out of your circles, then cut your circles. And then what you need to do is just line it up so your tree, there we go, completely covers the background paper, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to use the little metallic pearls. And my advice is pick them up with either a take your pick tool or a craft knife to make sure you pick up the stickiness behind. There we go. So that's the one card. But this is a 2-for-1 offer going on tonight. So this is the next card. And what I've done here is quite simply matted a little bit of tartan paper onto crumb cake, wrap my ribbon. I've cut my stitched rectangles already, and then I've just cut the trees out. So let's just make up the background first. So, oh, is that the one I've just used? Yes, let me choose a different one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Right. So then, as I say, I tend to do it all by eye, which means nothing is ever the same size twice. Living dangerously tonight. I'm just going to bring in my very squeaky Staples trimmer. I think I am going to treat myself with a new Stampin' Up trimmer. I've heard lots of very, very good reviews about it. So I might, because I'm being a good girl, I'm not spending all of the time. I think I might put it on my Christmas list. Excuse me. That's the joys of teaching nursery in the autumn. I've had a horrendous cold and chest infection the last few weeks. And I sound like I've been smoking 40 woodbines a day for the last 10 years. There we are. So there's my background piece. I'm just going to tie my ribbon. And the way I do that, I don't take it off the reel. Tie it around your finger. Just like that. Tie it into a knot. Don't tie it too tight because it is quite possible to get it stuck to your finger, because I've done that. And then when you find out the length you want, just snip it off. There we go. And I'm going to bring in some thin double-sided tape here to stick it down. Like that. And then once it's on, and I've stuck it down straight, and I just snip that little loop and give myself two ends, and I just tighten it off. There we go. Simples. I think I was taught that trick quite a few years ago. I think it was on a Stampin' Up demonstration day actually, before I joined it myself. So there's the background of my card sorted. Then I'm going to use, now I haven't bought the new gold ink. We had this one years ago and it hasn't had an awful lot of use, so I'm trying to use my things this year rather than just keeping them safe and hoarding them. I'll admit it, I do have a slight hoarding problem when it comes to card making equipment. However, I've also been in my quest to declutter, I've also been listing stuff on eBay. There we go. Now it doesn't seem to be stamping too well down the bottom of this stamp. Gives it a bit more of a faded look. I'll just pretend it's like vintage and antique. So I'm going to put that to one side because it does take a little bit of time to dry. Not loads of time, but it's not dry instantly. And I'm going to cut myself some trees, and I'm going to use all offcuts that I've got. But what I try to do is keep two completely contrasting ones on the edge so they stand out against the background. So I'm just going to bring in some different patterns. I'm not going to use this one. It doesn't sort of go with my card really. So I'm going to delve back in. But the patterns in this pack are so pretty. And I'm not usually one for dark Christmas papers, but I have made an exception for these. I think I'll have that one and the reindeer. And then this lovely green one there. So what I tried to do on my last one was try to get the center point, because I'm having two that are going higher. If I can pick them up off my table. So they are going there. And what I did, they are the ones I stuck down with a bit of wet glue. But if you give yourself your center point one first, then you can work off that, because these then will go up past the sentiment. Like that. I do like a bundle with a punch, because sometimes You just want to do something quickly without having to get the big shot set up. So it is quite nice when there's a punch to use. Then, this is my centre tree. There we go. Look at that. Then I'm going to stick it on the background. I can't believe how quickly we are whizzing through October. Next week in my craft club we are doing a Christmas card class, which is, I love making Christmas cards. It is my favourite season to craft for. Just bring these in then. And then that's another one. So as you can see, I've made 2 Christmas cards in less than 20 minutes. I'm just gonna put them there. And sometimes you need to make a batch of cards quickly. You could also make a little batch of cards like this as a present for somebody, or a raffle prize, or something along those lines, because you could have a little set of these cards all made up. I'm just going to use, luckily enough, they've got little lines just to make it a little bit easier for me to line it up. And there it is, all done. So, how simple are those cards, but how effective they are with all the tartan. I just love the tartan. Oh, I don't like that little bit on it though. So, thank you so much for joining me. So I'm Nikki from Nikki Nags Paper Crafts. Huge welcome to all my new subscribers. I'm looking forward to joining you again, hopefully, if not this week, next weekend. I've got parents meetings this week, so that's a few late nights in school. And I shall see you soon. Take care. Hwyl fawr.